Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We've got NIP versus FaZe Clan in map number 2 here. I'm XR Troika, joined here virtually with my good pal Demo.
Hello.
Map 1 was a good one, wasn't it? 8-7 on Cafe. FaZe getting the win in the end, but by no means a clear game in round count. There were some stark differences in other ways, and other ways that we can measure, namely the lack of kills for NIP. As a team, they were able to get rounds on the board, but they weren't always able to get the kills or perform in the same way. Yet it still went very close indeed. Now we switch over to Oregon, and I'll be honest, Demo, I'm not sure what to expect here. Do we expect it to go to overtime, or is one of these two teams going to really start to fire up?
Well, I think NIP need to, because obviously they're the map behind, and obviously you mentioned there about no real standout player. Such a surprise. With the stats that I have, gifted by Jack Allen, obviously the better analyst than that other one, that Canadian one. The one, that one, he looks like he's going to like fix you. It looks like a computer kind of tech guy, doesn't he? Looks like he's going to go fix like a
the admin guy.
You know the one I'm on? Yeah, that one. I've got by my records that everyone from NIP is hitting at least above 1.0, so above average. Even more so, above a 1.10 average. Every single player. The consistency's there. It is. The consistency is there. If I'm looking for, the big standout, you're looking at cons. So on my sheet, I've got at least, you're looking at like a 1.8 KD. That's absurd.
Well, we'll have to see. Obviously, numbers don't always paint the full picture. NIP going to be starting off on the defense here. Attack was somewhere that FaZe really shone on Cafe. We're going to be falling back onto old tricks, bringing in that Monty to assist in that roam clear. Not that there's much of it that needs clearing. We can see from wonderful free cam. All of the defenders down there on the site.
I've got a message from that admin, Donnie. He says he's got some stats for us. He says that there is a 99.998% likelihood that I smell. Which, completely wrong. Again, just proves it. His stats are entirely wrong.
Yeah, so, I thought you were good friends with the chick, because you did a couple of desks and,
Oh, you don't remind me.
I thought that you... Is that mirror window the other way?
No. Just because it's basically the spectator, whatever way you look at the mirror window, we don't actually see it. It's actually darkened out for us. It's just like a little minor thing. That's all it is. It's happened a couple of times.
That panics me a little. Obviously, we're not going to be able to ask to see it, but I panicked for a moment. I was like...
The day that we see mirror windows in freezer holding laundry, then we worry. That's like, where the game's taking a turn for the worse.
New strat unlocked.
Goodness. All of a sudden, somebody just walks down, opens the hatch, runs away. You're just sitting there thinking, oh my. I'm liking, the kind of pace that honestly FaZe are saying. They're doing all the basics right. They're clearing away the hatches. They're almost probing every angle. So NIP just can't stack up to one side. They have to have a man on every position, in freezer, in laundry, in pillar, in towards blue. You can see that kind of aggressive shield being played by Wizard. Just going to keep the Monty back for the meantime. Collins obviously has the smoke canisters in hand, can certainly keep them at bay. And oh, that's a great nade. Opens up blue now for the Monty to walk in, takes away the smoke canisters. That's off the board. Great little bit of work there from KDS. Even burning through Psycho and using the Wamai, but still getting that kill. It's a big one.
Big opener indeed. It comes at a very opportune moment. Look at the time left on the clock. 25 seconds, and Vitaking's going to start pushing through and really putting the pressure onto Wizard, trying to bully him there out of position. Wizard, how has he still been able to be alive? He nearly got the kill there over onto Muzi, but it wasn't meant to be. Handy. He now moves on through as it's an equal 2 versus 2. King, he's done so much work to stay alive and feed that information back, but it isn't going to be enough. Pino and Muzi both clearing shop in the end. And a good bit of information. The shield was dropped there by King. I think a closer round than either team would care to admit there to kick things off.
It was. I thought FaZe were in a good position clearing out blue, but obviously shaving down the seconds, it didn't leave them with a lot of time. And it's all well and good bringing the Monty, but one downside of bringing the Monty is it's one less guy without a gun. That is, the end all and be all of it. In a 1v2, if it's a Monty, no way he's winning that. It's the only thing you would say about bringing the Monty is everyone else around the Monty has to be getting kills, Ollie. Almost one player has to be playing for two in that aspect, don't they?
Yeah, that's, really where you start to lose out a little bit when you've got the Monty. And we were talking about this actually earlier on, right at the start of the day, on this very map. And Parker was saying, that shield operators are, I liked the phrase he used actually. He said lightning rod, which I quite liked because obviously the lightning rod is meant to get hit by lightning. But shield operators are often the lightning rod for criticism. And it's just because you can see it so clearly. And you're not necessarily criticizing the decision to bring the Monty or the player that's brought it. It usually is something more to say about the teamwork that goes on around that Monty pick or that blitz pick or that shield pick. Because you are leaving somebody without a gun, you have to pick up that slack. You can't expect them to, it's no longer a round where, everyone just needs to get one kill and we win. It's a round where, well, no, someone's actually going to get two. Because we're not going to rely on the Monty for one. The Monty's going to give us the info. We've got to act on it and work together with that. And King, he did an okay job, but he was trying to bully Wizard out of that Shaiko spot, and there was no one there ready really for the catch. There wasn't sufficient pressure coming in through those back stairs, and slowly but surely it started to diminish. So there's that sort of angle to look at things from as well, but still coming down to a 2v2 in the end was close enough, but not close enough for FaZe to come away with a round win. And as such, we'll be moving on upstairs.
Double French is the option of, I would say, utility denial. I know that sounds weird. What, Rook and Doc denial operators? Actually, yes. Nades don't really affect them. They've got ways to buff their health and take reduced damage, and can also revive themselves as well. That makes them the perfect line of operators to just soak up grenades. Sure, it's a little bit off the beaten track, but it works, I think, equally as well as what bringing in, a Wamai or Jaeger in a lot of situations. So I do like the creativity, and also you get the 1.5x's, and even Rook gets the 2x. And look at this, Handy has just strolled down Attic. He opened himself up with that blowtorch, and he's deep in it. Flashbang goes in. Oh, looks away at the wrong time. He was worried about a Frostman. It will be a down. Gets finished off by Psycho Cons. Two of them lined up. Cyber and KDS are gone, but it's all Cons in a 1v2. A peek on the armory door. A yellow ping going out. Maybe some information that his teammate can feed him, but nobody's on cams right now for the defense, so they have nothing to give this man. Cons has to do it all himself, Ollie.
He's not in the worst spot. It is winnable, but it's going to be very difficult indeed. A drone is going to call him out there. Souls will hit the goo. That's going to slow him down and chunk away some of that HP. Going to continue to chunk as the wall will start to get open now. Souls has been left on one shot. That goo mine could be huge here. Big problem. King is in position to get that plant down, and we're going to see Cons go for it. Picks one, but not good enough for the second. Boy, it's a good job King comes off the plant at that moment. We said it was winnable for Cons. Wasn't too far away there, but FaZe respond back with a round of their own.
Oh, it's a close one. Nice attempt from Cons, but just everyone else falling around him. That Maverick so slippy, Ollie. I'm really surprised that he's been able to get away with that. Just a Maverick by himself walking in through Attic. It's a scary one, maybe lacking some information there. Valkyrie is an option. Valkyrie's up. Very strong on just universally on every map. We know that. So it could be an option for NIP if they do feel that they don't really know what FaZe are going for, that early information. Just information in general. Will go with the distance. Now this is the meeting defense for NIP. Obviously could have ran it back upstairs, choosing not to go for that. We see teams sometimes go for that. I think that the thought process with teams that if they lose a site and they automatically replay it, there's something significant that they feel could have been massively avoided. Moments could be like, oh, I have been randomly wallbound through 2 separate walls and it's hit me on the head. Like, that stuff you don't prep for. That stuff you can't play around. That's just luck. That is just the game. And that's where you'd see teams run it back.
Unlucky, to be fair.
Yeah, but luck in favor of the attackers in that scenario. So the fact that they just straight away went for a third bomb site shows to me that they're just overall not happy with that.
I don't think the NIP want to, as you say, run that one back there. Whatever Cons was cooking wasn't really working out too well, but he's going to be looking to put a challenge on here. Does he know that Cyber's there? He's got no clue. Cyber going for that roam clear below and will be rewarded. Muzi doesn't have the trigger discipline there. If it had just held off for a fraction, he might have seen a better chance. But he's going to jump the gun. Gives the alarm bells over to FaZe, and they're going to maintain that man advantage for the time being. More dangerously, now going to be lads playing nades up through the hatch. Just gives another element here for Muzi to think about. Psycho, he's going to find one back over onto KDS though, but it sounds as though a couple of those air jabs are already out there.
Good point you brought up about NIP is the lack of denying information away from FaZe. Have been extremely well of knowing exactly where everyone is. They brought in the mute this time around, but I don't think for me it's the greatest choice, mostly because 9 times out of 10, a lot of teams will just attack Big Tower. They'll take maybe 30% of the map, into Attic they go, so you won't really get the full value out of going for like an extension in towards the roam game. And with moments like that, NIP, you have to question him. Souls is deep in the site. He can go for the plant. Pino swinging in through split. It's a great shot on the Cyber. Souls is not planting. He's prone. He's trying to hide away from Pino. He's waiting for Vita to come in. Souls spots out Pino. Oh! Side shifts slightly to the left. Gets away from Pino and hits him in the head. FaZe just strolled on in, Ollie.
And they were allowed to. I think that was the scary thing about that round. FaZe were able to just open that back wall and get themselves established. It all started with Cyber. And he wasn't done there. You could see him battling right up until the end. But you've got to question that from NIP. You know, if you're going to be going for that sort of aggressive play downstairs, you've got to be invested in it. You can't just dip down those back stairs and have a look after you've given opportunity for the defenders to get into position down there. If you're going to roam, you need to be set up from the start. Now, whether that's a late decision to go down there, or whether that's a situation where you tied up doing a little bit of prep upstairs, it's taking you a bit longer to make your rotation or to reinforce your wall or whatever it is, you can't be arriving to that roam game late. Because that's where FaZe had that good big advantage early on. Because obviously if you're playing with that hatch open, you're going to want to try and get a C4 out through it. You're using it for your own purpose. And FaZe moving quickly there. Again, comes down to this information game demo. We've praised them on it in map 1 and will continue to do so. Doing a great job. Not only on that drone economy, okay, maybe not in this round too much. They've lost 2, I think. But overall, they've been doing quite a good job at gathering that early round info and acting on it.
I think there will be a much slower approach for FaZe Clan this time. I think they'll try and once again get in early, do the basics right, get all the hatches open, start probing the site. That information game from them is severely strong. It'll be curious to see if they go for the blue take again, or will they opt for laundry. the fact that I'm seeing a Capital always kind of leans into maybe they might go Laundry because he's really good at clearing out Closet, for example, and could also smoke off Highway, which is another big issue for that kind of attack is, oh, just wide swing will kill you on that double door. So the decisions is certainly the name of the game for FaZe. But now Freezer's there this time, Monty. So again, it kind of reinforces the point, are they going to try and get down there for the Laundry Freezer? Because you wouldn't be doing all this prep work if you were just going to sack it off and go for blue anyway. You can see Vita King now rotating over, going to get that hatch open for Laundry. If you're happy enough to sit on site, do keep in mind, Ollie, this is the most difficult bomb site to attack. This is Fort Knox. This is how this bomb site gets played. You sit on site, you have all these crazy angles, all this utility, and attackers struggle. We see it happen time and time again.
Very true. It is one of the sites that if you were to pick any out of the game, you would expect defenders to be winning downstairs in basement on Oregon. There's a distinct lack of vertical opportunity. And of course, it's on the basement, so you can't dig below them.
It's a star formation, I call that. Just everyone at a point ready to go. See how well they are spaced out? They have reverted to blue, Ollie. So NIP are going to go up the same issues, I feel, as what happened to the last time. It was going through all that burn, going through the Goyo canisters, the smokes. It just eats up more and more of that time. And also, this is a really difficult bomb site to find picks on. It's very rare you're going to find a roamer, so you're never going to get a kill from dealing with a roam game. You have to just everyone push in at the same time, but FaZe are doing very well of that at the moment as free kills have came for them. Pino trying to play off that mirror window, eliminate Cyber, and there's a swing coming in from Cons. Pino has it all to a 1v2, but he is against a Montiol. He can trap him in that room. Never mind, Pino's jumped out, vaults over. But now they know where he is. It's only a matter of time before the swing happens. Pino's on such low HP. Oh, Vita King is there. He trades handy for it. But as long as they get the round win, that's all that matters. But Pino, that was very close, my friend.
I don't think Pino could have played that better. If Pino would have won that, you could clip that and you could analyze it all day long. The fact that he shot out the top of the soft wall to allow himself the ability to jump out of there, I don't think it was vaultable until he shot it open a little bit more, because he knew the Monty's coming for me and I am about to get trapped, and that is just no good whatsoever. I need to give myself a chance. Makes the hole, hops himself out. Great play from Vita King as well. Your strength as a Monty is in your ability to keep distance from your opponent. And how much distance you keep from your opponent is kind of down to you, and it's very situation dependent. In that position, you want to have as least distance as possible between you and your opponent, so that when your teammate dies, you're immediately there for the shield bash or whatever it might be. You've got to play close to one another. And Vita King was stuck to Pino like glue there. It was fantastic to see. Very skilled on that Monty. And so far, Demo, it's crediting FaZe with a good number of rounds here. I love the way that they're playing around this shield.
Shield has worked. I don't think we've seen a bad shield round, really, apart from, the clash on Bakery and Cafe, but that's to be expected. Clash comes in, it causes issues. I like it. I really do from FaZe. Shield's very underrated, very powerful in the right hands. And the thing is with Brazilian sides that I feel compared to what probably EU and NA would put up, is whenever Brazil do it, no matter what the idea is, no matter what the call is, they'll die for each other. You can see that spread across, where I think sometimes there's a few baiters you could probably name. Not going to name names, they'll remain anonymous, but everyone knows who they are. Who will, somebody makes a play, but they'll just focus on getting their kill. Brazil ain't like that. There could be a surefire kill on for you in Brazil, but if you get the call to rotate, you do that. That's how they operate. And with a strong operator like Monty, who will be able to pick out weak points, and will be able to say, come to me, we can just plant and we can win the round, they'll all do that. That's how the mentality of this team has been, these teams have been drilled into across the region.
A good start for FaZe then. They're going to be very happy with themselves so far here. 3 rounds to NIP's 1. Now, it is their map choice, but it is also Oregon. There's a map that, as CDAPS was saying on the desk, is somewhere that NIP have avoided for quite a long time now. Nearly 2 years. If CDAP's numbers are to be believed. I find that quite unbelievable, to be honest. I'm not calling CDAP's a liar by any stretch. I trust his data. But I just find it unbelievable that NIP have not played in Oregon in 2 years.
I'll ask my analyst. Analyst, you know who you are. You don't need to name your name, but you know who you are. Tell me if that's correct. See how good he really is. I like that observation blocker in Attic, Ollie. That was an issue that they were having, was denying the information. And Andy has been able to win that against Psycho, but this time a couple more kills do go in favor of NIP, but still FaZe Clan have the lead. There's Blair, maybe looking to get aggressive. ADS will be held at bay. Cons holding on to that long angle towards Attic, hoping that somebody may keep their head through, but nothing at the moment. A minute to go, Ollie, and this is tense.
It really is, especially with the positions that Pino and Cons occupy right now. Handy, he gets chipped down and taken out there. You know, credited with that one. A goo mine coming into play yet again here. We saw how crucial the goo mines could have been last time. The Cons, this time they're providing similar value. KDS is going to go below, just try a few pot shots through the floor. Souls, last of the information there being gained by the defenders as that diffuser is recovered as the bulletproof is taken out. And that's really going to be all that they need to know here. Pino, he's in a pickle inside of bunks there, but Cons has got his back. No, he's not. He fluffs the shot. Pino, he's got it all to do. 1v1. Souls is down. KDS, is he going to be able to find his man? No, Pino comes away with it. 2 versus 2 into the 1 versus 1. NIP needed that round.
Oh, they did. 2 separate 1v1s, essentially. That's what it broke down to. And Pino wins both of them. That's the funny thing. It should just be defenders kill each of your man, and that's you win the round. But Pino was pulling double time for his teammate. They needed that, desperately needed that round to get them back in it. It's a lot easier coming back from probably a 4-2 half if you go by laws of averages, especially with how FaZe have been playing, compared to 5-1s. So you've denied that 5-1, and who knows, you might get third here. You do head down to the basement, which it's been very close in these basements, both for the attackers and the defenders. It has been certainly one of those where you can't really call it. I think, was it both times coming down to 1v1s, or was it a 1v2 one of the rounds? I think it was at least
two.
Yeah, it was minimum 1 versus 2 anyway.
Yeah, because it was Pino versus the Vita King and Handy, I think it was.
Yeah, so it's pretty close. So certainly the defense would have a little bit of belief that, hey, this might be the one. But I just feel if you're FaZe Clan, you see this basement, you're licking your lips. You're thinking, oh, another one. Oh, my goodness, Christmas does come early, and we're only in September.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a little bit of a buffet for the previous couple of rounds, hasn't it, for FaZe Clan? They've just been, yeah, I'll have a little bit of that, I'll have a little bit of this. There's no real consequences.
A second plate?
Yeah, second plate.
Third plate.
Pull up a chair. Pull up a chair and get involved. And NIP have, they've dropped the information that they maybe undercooked a little bit of the chicken, and they've started to grab a couple of these rounds back. Still chance for an equal split here for NIP. Equally, still chance for FaZe to maintain that lead that they've had so far this map. Look at the space they've been given here as well, Demo. KDS, he's just trotting around as much as he likes. We've got a player going down into Freezer. There's no roam game to speak of, so FaZe can move quickly.
Just what you expect to see, and obviously FaZe, they'll know that everyone on NIP will just sit in the site. The lineup, you expect to see that as well. Just the only thing is just no Monty. Bring in the nuke instead, you get an extra set of nades, which I suppose could help with clearing out blue, which has been the main focal point that where FaZe have really wanted to stem their attacks from. NIP have sacrificed the Goyo Ollie, which I think done a really good time at burning down the clock for FaZe, so I'm surprised to see them get rid of that. It's a great piece of utility to have.
I think you've got to look at trying to burn the clock, especially when you're not going to go for any roam, because FaZe are going to have as much time as they want to execute this. It really doesn't come down to anything else. They've got full map control. They can do whatever they like. They don't really have to worry about the flanks too much, because it's going to be very difficult for NIP to pull a flank off. Great nade to open things up. KDS He's been lethal with those grenades here tonight. You can't pick who you get, but he takes comms out of action. And with it, the remaining Toxic Babe canisters, which have gone unspent at a time that you need them most. Cyber is going to be the next into the action, but all isn't going well here for the side of NIP. Muzi left in the clutches. Going to give a bit of his location away there as the plant starts to go down, but I'm not sure it's under sufficient cover. Vitzking, he has to come off it as soon as the engagement is lost by Souls, and instead he's going to go for a reattempt here, but great movement from Muzi. It's just a shame his shot doesn't match up. Does he realize Vitzking has gone for the kill instead of the plant? The answer is going to be no. Vitzking, what hasn't he done in this first half demo? He's played every role under the sun.
Workhorse. That's what he is. He's just box to box, all over the map, doing everything. Now, you will look at how Muzi played that 1v2. I thought he wasted a good chunk of time there. You know, going back and forth. We've seen Vita had to get off the diffuser. Now, if there was Goyo canisters and they'd burned down the time even more for FaZe, could Vita have ever gotten off that diffuse? Think about it.
Yeah.
Little things like that, not having the Goyo, it gives FaZe so much more room to play around it and just have that flexibility. If knowing you have time, you can take your time with getting that diffuser down. As long as you're in the site, you're in the site. Yeah, NIP, 5-game losing streak. This could be number 6 with how it's looking, and their attacks need to be just absolutely on fire if they want to get out of this, because FaZe, they have all the confidence, Ollie. They won the first map. They're leading in their own map pick. Historically, it's been good for FaZe. Whenever I think of Oregon and FaZe, the game that always stands out in my head, I think was it me and you who covered it? Was it, I don't know when it was it SI or something like that? It was FaZe versus G2, and FaZe absolutely just knocked them out. It was like a 7-2. FaZe were so quick, so fast, agile, everywhere they could be. Attacks were so clean. G2 didn't have a clue what was happening. That game always stuck in my head for FaZe. And yeah, on Oregon, it's always stuck ever since that they're so dangerous on it. Let me see when that was. I'm going to check that up.
I think we've seen a lot of teams be very dangerous on Oregon over the years. And especially, I remember it being such a staple map back in sort of 21 and 22 when we were in Brazil.
Invite 21.
Yeah.
They 7-2 G2. That was it. Yeah. What a game. I remember that very well. Of course, that was the year of Brazil, only 2021. We know
it's crazy how we can recall those sort of maps and little things that happened in it, but it just seems like when you say it was, 2 years ago.
Oh, it's over 2.5 years ago now.
It doesn't feel like it was actually that long ago.
Well, let's see if Muzi and Pino can carry over their great defensive form onto the attack, because you're going to need to. Those are the Wonder Twins, I like to call them, on NIP. Very difficult to, I would say, separate them because they're so similar. And, one of them's great, but two of them, even better. That's what we love to see from NIP is having them play just out of their skin and how dominant they can be whenever they really get their teeth sunk into a matchup. And going to need to do that. Everyone else in the supporting cast of NIP just need to make sure they can enable them as best they can. I like the fact that Psycho's on the Dokkaebi, having those calls to assist those young players. Well, I'll say they're young, they're getting up there now. This is not the heyday anymore 2 years ago whenever they first joined the scene, but certainly can still do it. There's Wizard. Good pick. Eliminate Cyber. That was a shotgun going off, and that could have caused some big issues for them.
Good news for NIP to get an opening pick here. They desperately need to stop this round and the game from running away with them. KDS going to be hiding out inside of the freezer. Vitzking, he's got the C4 prepped ready for the drop, and it looks as though they've got a bit of info. Potentially one of those Valkyrie cameras still hanging around upstairs in meeting. D4 going to get sent out there, but Muzi does his best to dodge out of the way. Still with a couple of nades in hand as well. Could likely see some success onto this pillar player. Throws the nade, but even saw the man the kills fly. Pino left as the sole survivor. That did not go well at all. If you're an NIP player or fan, Handy, he's going to be on elbow to pick up that final kill. They went for a big old 3-2-1 and were met with resistance.
Yeah, they're probably lacking, some form of denying, angles being peaked. May it be smoke grenades, may it be more flashbangs. Obviously, Ying being banned out is a big one that you love to have for those Oregon basement executes. I do feel as though Ying, if you have her on board for Oregon, then all of a sudden, the attack win rate in that basement does go up quite a lot. She's so good in the meta currently, especially for those 3-1 executes on basement. If you don't have that, the amount of crossfires, the trades that can happen for the defense, that's what makes it so defender-sided. Is because there isn't really... Split pushing doesn't work. We see that time and time again. So you always have to go together from one side. Whenever you go from one side, it means that the enemies are always going to be looking one way. They never have to worry about somebody being on the flank. They can just stack up with one another and just trade you. The only ways you get in there is going through blue, which then, you take the 1v1 challenge onto elbow, or you drop hatch and walk down the stairs. Two of those ideas are not the greatest. Walking down a staircase is not fun. Neither's dropping a hatch. So you don't have a lot of good ways into the actual bomb site. That's the main issue for it, for the attackers, just getting into the place. That's why you need to be creative. That's why you need to bring a bit of flair out. We've seen the Capital work, for FaZe Clan and those attacks as well.
NIP probably felt quite good after getting that opening pick and then deciding to go for that 3-2-1. They had a good amount of info as well. You think about the nade that Muzi was looking to land onto the pillar player, and they really had a good amount of info there to be working from. Now they're approaching round number 8 here and probably thinking to themselves, really need to start winning some here because this series could run away from us quite quickly if we are not careful. And they too will be sent into that last chance qualifier with, of course, the winner going through to the major. Not really how you'd want to go out as NIP.
Yeah, well, Keyd Stars is waiting for them, and I think after what they done to W7M today, it's a big possibility. Keyd Stars could be on their way to the major, and it's the third spot, and then obviously down they go NIP into that dreaded swamp of the LCQs. Can I change my prediction?
I was wondering when this would come about, I'll be honest.
Is that possible? I think, honestly, I found my religion again.
I don't think you're, no, the answer is no.
Earlier, it's, I found my faith. I got my pride back. I did.
The answer is still no.
Are you sure? I don't know.
I brought this up at the top of the show. You had your chance then. You've had your chance and you've blown it.
But I love FaZe. Just so in your face the whole time, aren't they? Like this is them on defense, and you wouldn't think it. It's as if Muzi's playing defense and he's getting naded from below. How's
he found himself in that spot, by the way? It really looks like he's playing a defender role there.
He's gone. He's ran away. He doesn't want to stay there any longer. 3 of them stacked up in closet, Ollie. One fatal C4 in the end, but there is no C4s. They've reinforced the single wall because they're playing with a Solus below, trying to play off the information. Diffuser will be planted. Where is Cyber? You've reinforced that wall. You need to make sure you can deny that plant. Plant goes down in quite the predicament. Still, kills go back and forth. FaZe still with that man advantage. The shotgun from Solus up the armory stairs, and Pino's below. He can maybe try and deny his 2 nades in the pocket. 30 seconds. Wonder if he can make it happen. All of them scouring around the defender. I think they know it. 2 of them with 1 nade. Oh my goodness, 2 birds with 1 stone. Handy swings and Pino. There's no shot. He's won that. Oh my goodness, best nade of the year.
Not only the best nade of the year, but we got a great view of it as well with the free cam. We just saw bodies fly left and right. There's, for a start, I mean, we can rewind that round back to almost the start and go through it. But I'd like to kick things off while we're in this timeout for NIP with the question of why did they plant there? That was exactly what FaZe were looking at trying to both bait in and then deny. They somehow, by some miracle, get the plant down there. Not only that, Cyber rotates himself back upstairs because he realizes, I've probably dropped the ball a little bit here. We reinforce the wall. I'm meant to call out when the plant's going down and deny from below. We've shot out the floor so I can just shoot through it and see the guy. And then Pino just hides out inside of the classroom, picks himself up too. How he got to that point in the round and hadn't used either of his nades, again, is another big question mark, because that wasn't a predetermined play by any stretch of the imagination. NIP, they certainly know how to make things exciting, Demo. They hang on when they need to the most.
I take it back. I don't want to change my answer.
See, this is the problem with you.
Deal or no deal, I want to stay with my box.
Typical Glory supporter.
Glory supporter?
Yeah, I said it.
I do like G2.
Yeah, G2, Man United. Yeah, I said it.
To be fair, you're not the first person who said that. It's actually, you're on a list of people who said that to me.
It's probably because it's got some element of truth behind it.
Well, I started supporting G2 whenever they were winning and everything, the same way with Manchester United.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, I'll be honest, I've suffered as a United supporter these past 10 years. I also suffered for a G2 fan for quite a long time as well.
Well, that's what you get for Glory supporting.
You know, and after G8, you know, the suffering came back.
See, the thing is, you've gone about things the wrong way. As a supporter, you join and support at whatever time you join and support, and that may be a time of prosperity, or it may be a time of suffering. And if it's a time of suffering, then you don't know what the prosperity feels like just yet. But you've gone for the prosperity straight away. You've gone for the I want to support. I want the good feeling straight away.
Paris Major, Cloud9,
yeah,
unbelievable.
I'm not willing to go through the bad feeling at the minute. I just want the good feeling. You've got to pay the price with that suffering. You're just paying the debt in reverse.
We'll see what comes of it. Again, still FaZe in a fairly healthy advantage. It's one of those rounds where, I mean, you'll never see anything like that again. That will never happen again. Two nades, or one nade hits two of them, they both stack up, and it was just the way they both flew in either direction. It was very cinematic. Now, what are NIP up to? They've used all the Habana pellets to open up the dining wall. Keep in mind, this is meeting. So it looks as if they're going to try and take upstairs, because if you go in dining, that means you're going to go kitchen into security. You will not get into kitchen or security without taking above, because there will be defenders up here, as is shown on the screen. Well, that's good information. Seeing where the kit is, somebody dropped it outside, so now they know that maybe somebody's looking for a quick walk in the big tower. It's little things like that. That's where Solus comes in very handy. Speaking of, here he is. 50 HP. He's had a bit of a tussle with Wizard, just based on the HP. As long as Souls and Co are upstairs, it means that nobody can really get into kitchen for the meantime. So I think NIP, they need to start looking at putting some pressure on these players above, because what I'm seeing right now, Wally, is not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of map pressure. That diffuser's still outside. That's still being fed through. I think FaZe are quite happy with where they are. They haven't lost anyone. They have good control of the map still. And a minute to go.
As you say, KDS has gathered a good amount of info there. It might be to the undoing of FaZe, though, because I think Pino maybe went for that challenge. Just get taken out. It's a king. He's going to be in the action there with Psycho as players scurry back and forth. KDS, real playmaker inside of the round, eventually will be taken down. NIP. Slow round, but they've done a great job so far. They didn't account for Vitaking, and look at Cyber now on the flank, just tucking himself into Armory. It's almost as if FaZe are aware here that the diffuser was dropped in that exchange. But what a careless run through by Vitaking. He's not put a foot wrong all game, and then he goes out and pulls that. Cons collects onto Cyber, forced to try and make something happen. Rough round for FaZe. They really were in the driver's seat for a good portion.
To quote a legend, why are you sprinting? Why? Yeah. There's no, like, you have 15 seconds on the clock. You know your mate's in lobby. He can easily walk in towards meeting. All Vita King needed to do was listen to his teammate and just wait. Retake together. At the 15-second mark, and you know they're not planting, because I'm pretty sure they still had information in the site, you know you're going to get the 1v2 opportunity at some point. Take 7 seconds, Ollie, to plant that diffuser. You will be able to double up on the man who isn't planting, kill him, and then it's an easy cleanup. It's so simple. You know, in my head, it sounds simple, but I don't know why does it for FaZe?
I think FaZe really got wrapped up in the moment there. And NIP, they can perform under that pressure. You know, you think about that round. You think about where NIP do their best work. It's under pressure. It's games that they must win. It's fixtures that mean a lot. It's not a lot of time left on the clock. You know, this is all sort of piling into... I really feel like, you know, NIP do their best work when they're under pressure. They're a couple of rounds behind. The clock's against them. They're on the attack. They've got to do something. And, they're starting to find a couple of things here. 1 round away from leveling things up. They are going to be attacking into the basement, so by all accounts, you would be excused for expecting FaZe to go onto a map and series point here. But you can't count out NIP.
Again, back into business, NIP, slowly but surely, round after round, and all of a sudden, you're only 1 round away from equaling things up with FaZe. Head to the basement, and out comes the shield, similar to what FaZe are doing with the Monty on the basement. NIP are going to follow suit. Also, no real change from the defense. It seems to be from FaZe. Again, they're going with that Ella shotgun to try and hold down Blue very aggressively. Shotguns at the moment, Ollie, are pretty good. Pretty good. Good range on them. Almost taking it back old school. Not to the point where it was like that back in the first year Siege, but certainly better than what it was, I have to admit. Even the secondary shotguns, Ollie, you know, the Super Shorty, even the Bailiff, those are strong weapons now.
Yeah, there's I've had a lot of fun with the old flump cannon. Even for me, it's that. That's what it is. Put a silencer on it. It's terrible. I don't even know the actual name of that gun. I just know it's the flump cannon. Psycho, gonna be on the Monty. Gets himself inside a freezer, caught out momentarily inside the Femory. We need to try and clear that out to be as effective as possible. King now looks to try and deny a little bit of that area as the Toxic Babe canisters come in as well. KDS just going to replace a few magnets. He's got a couple in pocket for this exact occasion. But he's being spread a little bit. Pino trying to gather out a little bit of info here. He's looking to see if there's anything that he can find. Maybe a magnet. Potentially gets that one on the side. The nade going through would suggest he does. Toxic Babe, it is going to keep cutting off these attackers though. Cons, he's going to push through and find one onto Handy. King batted back there by the Monty that he himself has played so well, but finds success onto Wizard. Equal 3 versus 3 now. We do have the shield to consider. Look at Soul still dug in there deep inside of Elbow. And Pino, he is late to the party. We needed him here a few seconds ago because now he's left himself in the 1 versus 2, taken out by Souls. It's what we say when we talk about the Monty. You cannot rely on it for a kill. You've got to be there with it, working together. And that's exactly what NIP didn't do. FaZe, match and series point here.
I thought Vita was great in that round. The Monty pushes in the freezer, and Vita takes the initiative. I'm going to isolate the Monty before he isolates me. He uses the smoke behind the Monty. Sure, that's going to do some damage to him, but it stops his teammate from assisting the Monty with that push. He can then reposition back into sight, and we've seen him kill Wizard as he was looking to move in. I love that from Vita, using the smoke, stop the Monty's push, stop anyone else in freezer to pick him off, reposition, job done, no problems. Shield will still up on Laundry as well. I don't know how that was still there, but he'll take it nonetheless. So, very impressive of Vita this game. Like you said, he's been everywhere. He's been absolutely everywhere.
The thing is, he did it on the attack, which is fine. Sometimes we'll see players have a good attacking game, a good defending game, but it's so good to see when a player has a good all-round game. He did everything he needed to on the attack, and he did everything he needed to on the defense, and you really cannot take anything away from the way that he's played Siege tonight. And consider that he's been on the Monty for a good couple of rounds. Now, we've said that Monty's aren't good for a kill. We've seen him get a kill on the Monty. Okay, I get it. He was in that little 1 versus 2, or the 2 versus 1, should I say, and he was able to pick up the kill in the end. But he's still doing a great job of contesting and contributing on that scoreboard. 10-4. We haven't had a rehost in this game. He's a clean 10-4 after the 10 rounds that we've seen played, now moving into the 11th. Fantastic shift for the player here for FaZe, and a good team performance overall, but the job isn't done just yet. 6-4 looks fantastic, but it isn't over until it's over. NIP, they've got an opportunity here to try and claw around back and maybe start thinking about taking us into an OT.
We've got the counter pick for potential Monty comes in. The Clash, but no Monty, as we can see on the board. So, I mean, I think Clash will still have the uses nonetheless. But this is where NIP need to find some form of a strong attack to really set themselves up. Because even if they win this round, they still have to go for round number 12, and you want to carry a good bit of momentum into that. For FaZe, I think they'll just play the same way they've been doing. Just trying to control the tempo as best they can. Aggressive when they need to. And you know, even I've mentioned about FaZe how sometimes if you're attacking, it feels like you're defending with how aggressive FaZe can get in the defense. And I think having the Clash to call out, you know, more of that information. And obviously, you know, the mishap that happened with reinforcing that wall and you try and play below was if that diffuser does go down, then what do? They're almost going to double down. Not only do they have the Soul's Blow to deny the plant, but even having a Clash swing round to give information or even block a doorway, that could come in pretty handy for them and just slow down NIP even more so.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you know, course correcting really from things that didn't really go their way in the previous round.
Look at this.
Yeah, the wall can get open, but look at Vitaking's position. He's already aggressively pushing into Closet, and he's forced Cons into Master. And that's not really a position you want to occupy for too long. You're very vulnerable there, especially if Attic is open, which it is. You've got Souls on the other side of that. It's forcing NIP to get a little bit more creative here with what they're opening up. They're trying to incorporate Armory into the push just a little bit. And Vitaking, guess what? He can just stick his face up against that opening and gather a bit of info. Say, hey, yep, there's one here, there's one there. This is what they're doing. Fantastic adaptation there from FaZe. And it really is starting to slow down this attacking push.
Down has occurred. Vitaking, look at the information. Oh, kills them. Look at that range. Disgusting from Vita. And another one comes to him. He's going to get shot in the back by his own teammate. Psycho and Muzi have it all to do. Psycho up the white stairs he goes. Muzi primed and ready, but still that same issue. That Clash Ollie is just pestering the life out of him.
There's nothing that Muzi can do here. He's really between a rock and a hard place.
Oh.
Psycho finds 2 as they line up. A moment that could have been, but not. KDS there cleans up those final 2. Despite a potential exciting end there for NIP, it's going to be FaZe that are successful here on Oregon. FaZe successful earlier on Cafe, and FaZe going to the Atlanta Major.
2-0. Job done. FaZe, I've said you didn't play all too well.